What's good, fam? Welcome back to the Boys Podcast. My name is Jorge. This is Mike.
I'm still Mike.
Still Mike.
Same as always.
Hey, speaking of Mike, so people don't harass me anymore.
Okay.
As you can see,
I've got a new mic.
I came through.
Thing's awesome. It's not all wiggly, dude. It's just chilling. Look at hands-free.
Looks nice.
Looks really good. It's all black. Matches my kit. Next week we'll get a white one. I'll wear a white t-shirt.
I mean, I don't know if we're that, killing
All right.
it.
I'm just stuck with this one.
Yeah, unless I paint it.
Okay.
I did get 3 of them, so. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Another week. Dude, we're knocking the weeks off. I thought for sure this would be like a one and done thing.
Hell no.
No, we're actually kind of like, we're moving.
And the people are enjoying it. And that's like, a great feeling. People are tuning in and talking to us and letting us know that Aaron Rodgers is indeed a dickhead.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just based it off one experience.
Yeah.
It wasn't I don't hang out with the guy. Okay. So
yeah, I just based it off just like his demeanor, but then people were hitting me up saying like, hey, I actually have seen him in person and he was kind of a dick to a little kid. And it's just stuff like that. So
it's got to be one of those things. It's just the day. Like I probably caught him on a good day. There was like only 3 people following him. He's like, damn, I better look like I have like some fans or something.
He probably wanted a party and he saw you guys and he's like, those guys can party.
Dude, I was buzzed. Yeah. And it was like noon. Good midday.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
You gonna repeat that today?
No.
I'm
on the wagon. I quit drinking.
Did you?
No, just for 1 week.
But
because last week hurt. Like I went really hard.
Oh yeah.
And Sunday was like the hardest day of them all. So like Monday, Tuesday, I didn't really feel super well.
Yeah.
So that sucked. And then we have our buddy, Jersey Tony, who we've talked about on the podcast. He's coming in next week. So that's like another 5 days. So I'm like, dude, at some point, like you have to like put yourself into some kind of check and just take a little break.
Yeah.
I'm not quitting for good. I don't want to hear no crap out of you guys. I'm definitely a drinking guy. Like I love my beer, but I also have some awareness. Like sometimes you got to clean it up.
Yeah. Well, I know you're going golfing after this pod. So, we were just out there and I said, hey, you should have a drink, because I know you're going golfing. So I figured you'd have some beverages and you were like, absolutely not. Yeah.
See, and that's a tricky subject because I don't really golf sober a whole lot. And I've realized my brain is like a little like hamster in a wheel, right? When I'm golfing, dude, I think of everything like, man, make sure shoulders rotate and do this, do that. Dude, I'll shank the ball. So it's like 6 beer buzz. All of a sudden I'm
don't care. Just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I care too much. I care way too much.
Yeah.
Which brings me into a topic that I want to talk to you about. Because I've been thinking about this a lot, like being retired, not retarded.
It did sound like that.
I know. I bit my tongue right at the end. But being retired, like, you lose track of goals, right? So, like, I was thinking the other day, like, you have 2 kids, so I'm sure, like, one of your goals in life is to raise those kids to be healthy, successful. Like, you have, a purpose and a goal, right?
Yeah.
Golfers on the PGA Tour, like, their goal is to win the Masters or, Ken Roczen's goal is to win Supercross. And I started thinking, because when I retired, everyone's like, well, you got to do something, dude. You're 37 years old. You got to have a purpose in life, this and that, and I'm like, dude, I just had a purpose in life for 30 years. That was my mindset, right? Got away from everything. I love golf. Like I have some small golf goals, but let's be like, I'm not going on the tour or, So like, I could shoot a 72 this year. That's a cool goal, but it's at Sunridge. Like that's not doing it. So I've kind of been thinking about it a lot. And me, I'm like a very free spirited life guy. Like I'm not saying a goal of mine is to want to like go out and get a 9 to 5 and do this and that. But it's had me thinking like each year that I get away from retirement, it's like, dude, I can't just sit in Johnson Lane, be a degenerate, drink, golf. So I've been trying to think of some goals. Yeah. You got anything for me?
I do. Just off the top of my head. I know when you come up with these topics, you kind of throw me in there. So it's hard to, think of
That's
something
why
real quick.
Yeah.
But just this podcast in general.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could build this up and make it something where, we're making some money off of it. Also brings in some side gigs just because of it, stuff like that. So I think maybe podcasting could be a goal.
Yeah. Well, and this thing's been a huge thing for me as far as giving me some kind of like consistency and something to do. And I do look forward to it. Like I love talking with you and getting the feedback from all the people out there and just kind of, like we know we're not like a Joe Rogan or some huge podcast, but the people that I feel listen to us, a lot of our friends, like Steve Dinsmore, shout out to Steve. He's always commenting on our stuff.
Yeah.
He's been a longtime friend of ours. And just even that, I mean, if we got 5 comments or questions and it was 5 of our friends, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because we're giving them something to listen to while they're at work or while they're exercising. And so, yes, just stuff like this is starting to give me more of like a little bit of a purpose than just, going to Sunridge and golfing every day. And just, like I said, being an idiot. So I never thought it weighed on me. Like I said, I've yelled at my mom. She's like, you got to do something. And I'm like, I did something for 30 years.
Yeah. And
everyone works 9 to 5s for 30 years and then retires and they don't want to do nothing. Some people go back to work. They're weird though, but I mean, it's hard for me to say because obviously I'm not in the same situation as you. I'm not retired or anything like that, but just kind of picturing my life if I was in a situation, I think I would do things to keep me busy, but at the same time, just how my mind works, I think I could probably do something where without even trying might become like that next thing that I do. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying maybe with this podcast, like, we're doing it for fun and stuff like that. But if it actually turns out to be serious, I know you'd be down and we're like, all right, let's do this. And, so hopefully that could be something that, turns into something serious for you.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Like I said, I've really enjoyed doing this and just shooting the shit. And I think each week we're getting better and it's starting to make me think more about it. And it just came to me this morning. You're like, do you have any topics? Because we kind of fly by the seat of our pants. That's why we start with sports and it kind of goes somewhere else. But you asked me, and that's something that's actually finally weighing on me because I am only 41 years old. There is a lot of, I'm still healthy. Like I've got when I'm 60, I could sit on my porch and drink beer. You know what I mean? So,
but what you just said though earlier, as in like, the goal is maybe not to get that 9 to 5, but to do something. And that's the cool thing because like, I guarantee like whatever you think of or whatever you actually do pursue and go do till you're 65 or whatever is going to be another thing that's like fun.
Yeah.
Like you rode dirt bikes for a living for, 20, 30 years and that was fun. So now you had that time to be like, all right, I'm not going to do shit. But then you're like, oh, maybe I do want to do something, but it's not going to be like that corporate job.
Yeah.
Most likely. So even working from now to your 65 or whatever it may be, and then you take the time off to retire, then you're like, but dude, I just lived that second like half of my life and it was super fun still.
Yeah. And that's like going back to golf. It's like I do love golf. Like I still want to play as much as I can. I want to get better. I want to do some local tournaments. These charity deals I do are fun. Going to Jason Days, like that's still a huge, and I'm happy that I've like found something besides dirt bikes to kind of do the same stuff with, I mean? Going to travel around, networking with people. I mean, I was in South Africa last year, dude, for 3 weeks, golfing on the coast for free. And all I had to do was talk to people and
you're on a show because of it.
Yeah, I was on a show because of my dirt bikes and then because I got into golf, so golf's still a huge thing. This podcast is fun. There's a bunch of little ideas. Like I invest my money a lot. I think people just thought I rode and, just quit and just live off like my couple bucks I made dirt bike. And I still am constantly like grinding and trying to figure out how, because everyone wants to make more money.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right? Like I would love to make more. I'm not content with just my monthly allowance I'm getting right now. So I do a lot of that, but it's just, this winter has really made me think about it because we have been stuck inside so much. Then I'm like, God dang, dude, it's like, is this what I want to do the rest of my life? Like sit here, scroll through Instagram, go golf. It's like I want to start doing more stuff. So I don't have my goals set yet, but it's finally like hit me where I'm like, I need to start doing something.
Yeah. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think you took like a well-needed break after, the job that you did. And, I think a lot of like, we talk about it and we're like, oh, it's so cool. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is like, you were out there risking your life. And I think towards your end of your career, you even noticed it even more like, fuck man, I got to go and flip. I don't feel like it. It's kind of scary here and there. Sometimes it might be windy and I'm not getting paid the most for it. So like that weighs on you a lot mentally.
Yeah.
I'd never been that person to like think like that until like I got like real jobs where, you had to think, because I always did my own thing or, worked for my pops here and there or whatever it may be. And it's like manual labor or, camera work and stuff like that, where that's like second nature to me. So when I actually had a job where I had to sit at a desk and you had to use your brain like all day, it kind of like, you're like, dang, I'm tired because my wife says that. And I'm like, dude.
Tired for what? Yeah. Because everyone bases being tired off of just like physical.
Activity. Exactly. Yeah. So stuff actually does weigh on you mentally.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, people don't understand. Like, I know we sit here and talk and we're like, oh, that, you know, fuck, I wish I could do that, you know, but at the same time there was a lot of risk involved in it. And, you know, a lot of friends have passed away doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And I've seen it, you know, and that's what sucks. And that's like when I listen to other sports, like let's say golf, you know, and they're like, you know, he's 40 years old. He's starting to get up there and his body's falling apart. And I'm like, dude, try it. Like, all you got to do is go practice. I mean, it's a lot. Golf's hard, you know, I'm not discounting that, but you go practice. If you miss the cut, you still got 30 million in the bank. Most of these guys, you know, and this and that. I'm like, dude, we literally had to go out there and risk our life just to keep like the monthly income coming. Right. There was never a guarantee of like, I never got a guarantee of like $5 or $10 million that I could put aside and then go do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then just every single time you're on a motorcycle, and I considered myself one of the more confident dudes on a motorcycle. Not as far as confident, like I'm going to go win every contest. I'm going to be the best rider. But I was confident with my skill. Like, you know, if it was a little, like I went to shows before where it was like a crosswind and I like didn't flip. Yeah. And I'd been flipping for 8 years, but there was something that bothered me at that show. And I'm like, the money is not there. It's probably a one-time show. I still rode my ass off, but there's just like, you know, I don't know. I felt weird. Like it was on a weird setup and, you know, so I didn't flip. And like, if I went to a contest and it was just gnarly setup, like I would just ride we call it like a B run, you know, like a run you would just kind of do when you're warming up at the house and at Miller's house practicing. So I was confident in that sense of like, I always kind of rode within my own means. Yeah. But still, dude, every time, like driving to Miller's every single morning, like in the prime of my career when I was riding every day, you have butterflies, you're nervous, like I can't eat breakfast just because it's gnarly. Yeah. You know, you get out of bed, shower, and then you're driving to go into like a high heart rate, high adrenaline situation, even just in practice, you know? And so I think that it did definitely wear on me. Like and that's why I think I don't even like ride no more, because I did do that so much and dedicated my life to it. But, you know, those first couple of years, it was so nice to go to bed and not be like, shit, dude, I saw the weather report. It's supposed to be like 10 mile an hour winds. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh man, it's kind of windy. Dude, I just wake up, make brekkie, watch some golf, go hit some balls at the range. And I'm like, dude, it was the best feeling ever. Right. After 30 years. Yeah. Right. Like when I was a kid, I loved that feeling. Yeah. But then you get to 37, like you said, I'm showing up to a show and it's raining and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. You know? And like I've mentioned before, I think the best part of it is when you actually retired is that you did it like you're healthy, you know? Oh yeah. So imagine if you're just like busted up. Yeah. So it hurts to get up. And I'm sure it probably does sometimes for you, but you just hurt every morning getting up and everything. So it'd be hard to be like, all right, I want to go hit some balls now when you're hurting. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that was a good thing. But yeah, dude, I mean, that's always a good thing. I think sometimes things just fall in your lap, but you got to put yourself out there. Like I've told you before, you know, I started this podcast 4 years ago and it was on one side, you know, like I took it one way because I thought that was maybe the way that, like a niche that we would fall into or whatever. And I talked to you about podcasting and you were like, yeah, I don't really know about the commitment and stuff like that before. And then I was like, all right, whatever, you know, it's all good. I still did my thing. We did it. Unfortunately, you know, Roger had to do his own stuff or whatever. So then I was like, but I don't want to just like end this thing that I started, you know, and I already know how to do it. I have all the equipment and stuff. So then I hit you up and you're totally down for it. And I think back, I'm like, dude, imagine if I would have hit you up 4 years ago and you would have said, yeah, it might have been the one and done. Yeah. You know, it might have been like you just said, like you thought maybe this was going to be a one timer and whatever. So now, like I said, things just kind of fall into place where now you have the time and I've got the time. And we're seeing like a good growth on the podcast just off of, you know, 5 weeks of doing it. Where maybe 4 years ago it wouldn't have been like that. Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it. And I've told you before, you know, you basically got to do this stuff. Like a lot of people are like, fuck, that guy's so lucky. Yeah. And it's like, well, a lot of people, part of it's luck, but also too, like that person took that risk and did the stuff and then got lucky somewhere in between there and took the opportunity and ran with it. So if I'm not doing this, if we're not doing this, it's not just going to pop up.
Yeah. We're never going to get a podcast show or whatever.
And, you know, it took me a while too. I don't know why. And I swear this is where social media makes everyone fucking retarded, right? Is like in the prime of my career, you know, let's say 70,000 followers on Instagram, getting, you know, I'm just throwing this out there, 4,000 likes, you know, a picture or whatever. I'm like, dude, I'm so sick. Minute, Nevada, dude, 4,000 people like my photo,
Yeah.
you know? And then as my career started to fade and I wasn't really keeping up on Instagram because, I don't do much anymore. It's like I can only post so much of the same shit. I'd start getting like 300 likes and I'm like, oh my God. It's like starting to like panic kind of. And I don't know why. And so like when you told me, you're like, dude, start a Twitch for playing Call of Duty. I'm like, dude, I'll have it up for, I'll do 3 times. This is the way my brain thinks. I'm like, I'll probably do it 3 times and have like 2 people watching.
Yeah.
And it'll be my friends, I'm like, screw that. And then you're all, dude, start a podcast. I'm like, for what? So like 5 people can listen to me. Like I always have that in my head.
Yeah.
And finally now, like I'm so removed from everything and just feel like I'm just your straight Minden dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit about nothing no more. I just want to like have fun and do whatever I want. Now I'm like, awesome if we have 5 people listening, because like I said, those 5 people are people we know that engage with us. And that's where I'm at now. Like on Instagram, if I get 100 likes, but I get 15 people that I can engage with, because we know Instagram's a bullshit site, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You'll see models that have never done nothing. They don't have no resume, no background. They have like 3 million freaking followers and 1,200 comments, dude, but they don't engage with anyone. And that's what, like, even in my prime, when I would get lots of like comments and, DMs and stuff, I always try to like, because I still feel like a normal dude.
Yeah.
And I always pictured back in the day, like, man, what if I like DM'd McGrath, like said, hey, your style's sick. And they never even look, it's like unseen or unread, never looked at. So I've always tried to like be aware of that and just kind of let people know that I see their stuff. And now it's more than ever, like when I throw up like a little throwback of riding. And I get like, I've had a couple dudes out there that have always commented on my stuff, and I always try and, be like super cool to them because they've been through me, by my side through my whole career.
Yeah.
And so I just always want people to know that we're like, that I'm seeing it now. So let's say that's 15 people, but I got 66,000 followers. I'm like, how come now I'm not stressed about it? But like 2-3 years ago, I was so stressed about like my image would look, and I've never even been a popular dude.
Nah, you've always been pretty popular.
But I mean, I'm not like Twitch, like with 700,000 or you know what I mean? I've always just been like, you're kind of like bottom of the pack, influencer as far as like freestyle motocross.
Yeah. What I will say about that though, that I really like is the fact that core base is like the following you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so say like we say some outlandish shit right now and we go viral and all of a sudden we get, 50,000 followers. Out of those 50,000 followers, 2 or maybe more than that, but a very small percentage will actually watch our stuff and support us.
Yeah.
When the people we have right now listening to us, because they're like legit fans of you, they like the show or whatever, those people are always going to be there for us. So I think that's cool, and I think that what different from back in the day, it was like kind of the popularity thing what you're talking about. But like now I think it's more like organic and authentic. So I like it.
And it's the old saying, dude, more followers, more problems. Wasn't that like a Biggie song or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So like we were talking earlier before we fired this up, and it's been cool because, dude, we're in my office room. We've got a camera, a couple light rings, microphone.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing, right? And the only complaint we've had is that I had the old ass microphone and you were all high scale. But it's like, you start getting, more followers and more listeners and shit. Dude, those people nitpick every single thing you do.
Yeah.
They'll complain, oh, dude, how come you said this on there? Or, dude, how come like it was like this? Or, you know what I mean? Like back in the day when I had tons of followers, it was like, there's always like a couple people that just want to talk shit. It's like, that's the way they get a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
So it's like, with our just like little base that we have right now, it's bitching because it's all people that just want to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, enjoy it.
They don't care about our production. They don't care that we talk about golf and UFC. It's just, like I said, they're probably maybe on a treadmill or, driving somewhere and they just want something to listen to. So that to me is starting to mean more, but it took me a while to get there.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
I'm here. Yeah. I am here because of this guy.
Yeah.
Knuckles. And he didn't bring me a beverage, dude, so my mouth's so dry right now.
We need that sponsorship. Dude, you said the R word earlier.
Oh, God.
And I just saw a clip, dude. It was so funny. It was like these 2 nerdy dudes, and one of the guy was like,
"Oh, retard."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
One of the guys was like, "Dude, back in the day, like, I feel like people were saying the hard R, like willingly, and like blah blah blah, and saying
like
all this."
Retard.
Well, no, just listen. He's like, people were saying the hard R, and the other guy was like sitting there, like, yeah, like and he's like, dude, I mean, I used to say it, and he's like, dude, what are you talking about? And he's like, retard. He's like, that's not the same context. It's the hard R.
The hard R
is meaning to the N word.
Yeah.
With the R.
Shot in the ghetto.
Yeah. And the guy was like, no, that's for a retard.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, when people say, he said the hard R, that's implying that he said the N word with the racist.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't say it at all, but with racist context behind it. And the other guy was just like saying it this whole time, thinking to himself that's what retard, with the hard R.
How do you not say it with a hard R?
Yeah. So the guy was like, yeah, I used to say it all the time. And his buddy was all, what? Dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was all confused.
Yeah.
Shit was pretty funny.
It's awesome. Got to be careful these days.
Yeah.
Everything we say. That's why I like having a limited amount of followers.
Dude, I will say I am 20% African.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could say it.
I am.
Not the hard R.
I'm just pretty standard white. I get sunburnt and then.
Have you taken those tests?
No.
Well, Heather did it. So I was like, all right, I'll do it with you. She set it all up and it turned out to be, dude, because, a lot, like, I for sure thought I had like Asian, a lot of Asian or something like that, like Pacific Islander.
I can see that.
Yeah. So for sure, I was like, all right, that and like some type of Hispanic, whatever. Get the test back, dude. 20% like African.
Cool.
And then the other part was like indigenous. Like here somewhere. Yeah. Indigenous, whatever.
You're from out in the bush, dude.
And then I think Spain or something.
Spain?
Yeah. I forgot exactly.
Well, that would be like your El Salvador like spot.
Yeah.
Spain transplant.
So Spain and indigenous American or whatever, or South American, whatever it is. And then the other like last percent was African from the Congo.
Sick.
So I was like, hell yeah, I knew it.
I think if I did one of those tests, it would just say Fresno. You're just from Fresno.
Well, what's funny is
born in a box.
And then Heather's was like basically white. She had like 2.
Yeah.
Because it breaks it down. Like you have like so much of this, so much of that. But my biggest percentage, like I said, was like, it might have been like Portuguese or Portugal or Spain, one of the two, something like that. And then indigenous, Portuguese, Spain, whatever. And then the black.
African, yeah.
And then a little bit of some other little stuff. And Heather's was basically like German, white,
yeah.
It was pretty funny.
So do you got a big old swinger down there?
Nah.
Damn it, dude.
That's the part of
God. You need to be like 28% African to get that. Like,
yeah. I missed out by 8%.
That's how I know I have none in me. This thing's fucking so small, dude. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, speaking of having swingers, Ken Roczen.
Yep.
Kickstart Kenny.
He
has a swinging kickstart to start his bike. What's your opinions on that? He won. I mean, if you watched the race for the first time and you saw his reaction and you think he never won in his whole life. But, he won this year, first time, the main event on his new ride.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a really big deal for him. So, but what do you think?
I think it's awesome. I think the emotion we saw, like how you said it was basically his first win ever. I think that's more of just, God, he just had that arm, that injury, that whole thing handful of years ago, just really kind of set him back. And I mean, he's had some good seasons, but.
We won A1 last year, right? Something like that.
Yeah, one of those. He won last year, but he's just been kind of hot and cold. And, he's one of the most popular dudes in our sport right now. So I think it goes back to that pressure thing of like, he knows he's got a lot of, shit weight on his shoulders. And just as an athlete, you want to win. And dude, these days, like, that's what I've said now, like 450s, we're not down to 2 dudes that are going to win this thing.
No.
Right? It's every week. It's, like Roczen's not riding bad, but look at Tomac. He gets an 8th place start and he finishes like 7th. Because I actually watched the race sober, so I kind of know. Not on Saturday night. I had to rewatch it on Monday. But, number 1, got the red plate, gets a mid-pack start and doesn't move up. And that's Roczen, that's Anderson, that's Barsha, that's all these guys, right? That's how stacked this field is now is, if Cooper Webb gets the whole shot and Tomac and Roczen are 7th and 8th, Webb's probably going to win that race.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where the emotion comes out is just knowing like, man, I know I can win. I know I can do it. My speed's there. Like if you look at time qualifying, it's not like Roczen's 3 seconds slower than everyone and trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And everything just came together. And dude, Barsha was all over.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he, went to a 6-second lead and just cruised. I mean, dude, that showed me that Kenny really wanted it. He finally, because there has been a lot of people in the media saying Kenny might be a little soft mentally. as far as he doesn't want it.
Kind of gives up a little
maybe
bit.
Maybe starts in 5th and that's where he finishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with Barsha all over him and, you know, the win meant so much to him. It's like, I was stoked for him. The whole kickstart and the Suzuki thing, it's whatever, dude. They get so many parts. It's like, I like the kickstart image. It's funny because he's the only guy left that doesn't have a push button start. But, you know, like the image is cool, but his bike's good. And he even said, like, I think in the last 2 weeks, he's finally not had to mess with it. So that's why his results have been getting better. But yeah, from an athlete standpoint, I was stoked for him to see that he held on to it because there was a lot of pressure on him, you know, and Webb was even there, you know, for a minute there too. It's not like he cruised to a win, and that track was so gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you asked me to win one Supercross, I've said Daytona before, but after watching this, it was like that track was brutal. Like a lot of people walked the track afterwards and took pictures, and it's like, dude, the whole jump is ruts because, you know, like usually.
And why is that? Because the dirt that was stored was just in rain or something?
Yeah,
or
it's just like North Midwest dirt. You know, like when we used to do arena.
So it doesn't hold up as well?
Yeah. Okay. Like when we used to do, because they get so much moisture back there and it's just naturally a soft dirt. Like the further west you get, the more hard, like rocky, hard pack it gets.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like maybe this winter was hard in Indy too or something. You know, I don't know, because like Feld does a pretty good job storing the dirt, but I loved it. I loved it because that just shows how gnarly this sport is. It's, you know, a lot of people just watching it on TV are like, yeah, it's cool, but it's kind of whatever. But like I said, when you look at that face of that triple at the end of the main event after doing, you know, probably let's say 25 minutes total on her, 23 minutes total, it's like, dude, there was not a line on there.
Yeah.
I think you're just praying that you don't catch a foot peg, or because you saw Sexton do it.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't do nothing wrong in his foot, like foot or foot peg just caught that rut, and you know, that's all she wrote.
Dude, it was so funny. I saw Christian Craig's vlog, and they were doing the track walk, and they were talking about like basically press day or something like that, and just people taking photos. And he's like, dude, who cares? It's ruddy. Everyone has to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, cool. And then like later out, he goes and rides and stuff. And like later in the video, he's like, dude, it's so bad out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like he finally realized it's not everyone has to deal with it. Yeah, they do, but like it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's so gnarly. And it's everywhere. Like people don't understand, the normal viewer doesn't understand how gnarly, like we were just talking about what I went through, is how taxing dirt bike is on your mind. Mm-hmm. If that track's groomed every lap, right? It's still scary. You're tripling rhythms, hammering whoops. Then you add where you have no line, like whether it's turns, straightaways, triples, finish, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're tripling those rhythms, it's ruts into ruts. So it's like if you're a little off tripling in and you're landing and you're not lined up with one of those ruts, it's a disaster, dude.
And you're going fast.
And you're hauling ass for, you know, like I said, 25 minutes. You're going, and let's count practice in the morning where you're trying to get your gate spot and you're qualifying. Mm-hmm. And then a heat race, and then a main event. Yeah. It's like, dude, that's just like, I bet you those dudes slept so good on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I think they did like 28 laps.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because they go by minutes now. So yeah, if it's a shorter lap time, but it was awesome. It's a cool change because that was one of my complaints for a while was, you know, like in like the late or early 90s when I started watching Supercross, like Tampa would be hard packed, right, and then Atlanta would be super like red clay ruts, and then you know Anaheim would be hard. Every track had its own like kind of dirt and like its own like presentation. It was sick because of what, but I felt like when Feld started like storing this dirt and stuff, it just kind of got to where it was like the same track every week, right? Nothing too gnarly. I mean, here and there you get a little bit of stuff, but it just looked the same every week. Mm-hmm. But seeing that and knowing what those dudes did, like nothing but respect for all those guys, all of them, like the privateers, everyone who stuck that track out. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good racing for sure. Yeah. I did like the, you know, he goes up there with his kickstart or his, whatever it's called. And when they interviewed Barsha, he was like, man, I was trying to tell my mechanic, like, let me get my battery or something to take it up there. Dude, it was so funny.
Maybe an air filter or something. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Like, you know, just seeing the personality. I think that's what that's what I like to see
for sure
as a fan. Just like these guys have personality up there. So people that were talking shit, like I kind of did to begin with, like, you know, kind of show that you've won before, dude. Yeah. But I get it, you know, and it made for another funny situation with Barsha. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, so we're going into this weekend with a new leader in the 450. So that should be good. Yeah.
And Webb, like, man, he's proven it in the past when he gets the red plate, he's pretty hard to get it away from. You know, like I feel like Webb's actually like all these dudes, like now that I think about it, they're very momentum type of guys. Mm-hmm. Right. So who knows? Roczen, that could have done something for him. And now he could be a regular podium guy, you know.
Yeah. Well, even Barsha, because he was
Barsha,
up there.
yeah, and Webb, like every time he's been up front in the series, he hauls ass, you know, kicks ass. But then, like I think it was last year, he just kind of never looked like he had it, you know. And then it could go the other way too. Is like Sexton, maybe that's why he keeps crashing, is because it's almost like ingrained in his head, you know. Like I gotta. That's what happens is you start thinking like, dude, just don't crash. Like, when you start thinking like that, it's bad. And I'm not saying that's what he's thinking, but it kind of seems like it, because the dude literally crashes every main event and he's first or second. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I've always knocked Supercross because I say there's two people that you know are going to win, and that's it. But man, this year has been pretty good. There's a lot of different stuff going on, and Webb's kind of proving you don't have to win every main event. You just kind of, you know, I mean, dude, I think 5th place and in, you're good. Yeah. Right? Just the way everyone's kind of going. You got Roczen throwing up a 6th, 7th, you know, Tomac and Sexton, who knows what he ever does. So I think if you just do top 5s, like what Webb's basically been doing, like you got a good shot at it. Be consistent. And then here and there, some other guys will mess up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Help take you your podiums there when you get it. Take your win when it's there, you know. But like, I think Webb rode smart this weekend because, I mean, like I said, that track was gnarly, and he looked good at first, then kind of looked like he just settled in. And even like when like Barsha passed him, he's like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You know, I'll take this all day long, and walks out with the red plate. Yeah, that's good. So this weekend is St. Patrick's Day. I think it's tomorrow. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Green, or else your nipples get pinched. Dude, you wore a day early. I got a rotation. I got a lot. I don't think I have any green, if I'm being honest. Oh, you're screwed. I'm coming over tomorrow. Okay. What are we having? Corned beef and cabbage or whatever it's called? Are you? No. I'll probably have tacos. I was going to ask you about meals if you do anything. I think you know, when I was younger, I think my mom made that, and it was like, okay, but not the biggest. That's not like the best meal. It's kind of weird that that's like the meal for St. Patrick's Day. Like that and green beer, shit like that. But the corned beef like sandwich is pretty good. Like if you make a sandwich. Dude, it's funny because I'm one of those dudes that has always said like I don't like corned beef. Like I don't like pastrami. I don't like any kind of like red beef. Does that make sense? Like how it's reddish, you know? But I don't think I've actually ever had like a legit setup of it. So it's like, what you should try is like a Cuban sandwich. I like Cubans because that's pastrami. Is it? Yeah. I thought Cubans were like pulled pork and ham and shit. No. Maybe I don't like Cubans. Yeah, maybe you need. I like the one that's Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard, pork, and ham. Well, besides the pork, it's a Cuban. Yeah, they put like. So is there a difference between a Cubano and a Cuban, or is it just the language? I mean, maybe because they say Cubano. When I said that, I was like thinking also the Cubano. Yeah, so I was like, I think it's Cubano is the one I like because it has like literally I've seen dudes do like a handful of like pulled pork and then throw in like some deli meat ham. I mean that just sounds like a hybrid. Well, whatever. I like it. Yeah, but those are good. I might have to try that because I've never really. I'm that type of dude. Like you guys will start to learn. I'll say I don't like something, but I've never tried it or I've never done it, or I've never met the person. I can't stand that guy. Have you ever met him? No, not really. Just something about him. Yeah, well, that's what I said about Aaron Rodgers. So. I did that with Adam Jones back in the day. Yeah. Never had met him, but I watched like it was back when Fuel TV was still a thing, and he got hurt at an event, so they brought him in to like announce. And he had like my personality. He was like talking shit on all the riders, but not like in a hateful, spiteful way. He was just literally being a smartass, and I watched that, and he said something about like Miller, I think, or Foster, and I'm like, this guy is a dickhead, dude. Screw this guy. Well, that's different because he's talking about your friends. Yeah, but I didn't like, and I knew he wasn't serious, you know, but it, like, I was like, screw this guy. He is such a dick, man. And I told Miller and that, and they're like, dude, he's cool as hell. Like, we all like get along and shit. I'm like, I don't know. I don't like him. And literally like a month later, he moved out here. Yeah. And needed someone to ride with and got my number from Miller. And I went out and rode with him. And then we became teammates and just rode FMX every day. Yeah. I'm like, see, Mike, you're such an idiot sometimes. We should have him on the pod. We should. Definitely. He only lives right down the street. Yeah. We'll have him on. Okay. So, you know, staying on the food, I want to know if you have any food hacks. Because I came up with a food hack so to make something easier. Like, you know, I make a good ceviche, like shrimp. So good. So the basis of that is basically raw shrimp or fish, whatever you want to do. And it cooks in the lemon juice. Yeah. Or lime juice. Yeah. So, you know, you want to do that, cut it up and put it in the fridge for, you know, a day. So it cooks in that juice and stuff like that. Sometimes you might not have the time for that. Yeah. So what I've been doing is I go to Costco and they have those shrimps there. They're called like
cilantro lime shrimp, but they don't taste anything like cilantro lime.
Yeah.
But they're already cooked and everything, and they're seasoned pretty well. So you take that, you take your cucumber, cilantro, tomato, and all that, mix it, put it in the juice, and it's basically ready to go within 5 minutes.
Huh.
So, if anyone out there needs a little...
That's a good tip.
Little hack. And realistically, it tastes pretty good. Like, it's not like the original, ceviche.
Yeah.
But it tastes really good. It already has some of that seasoning on there, so you could add a little bit more or whatever. But, cut it all up. I get 2 little packs.
Yeah. Perfect.
Do it, and it's ready to serve like in 5 minutes. Just let it, marinate for a little bit.
God, I love that. Easier is better, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Like, yeah, it's like lazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it tastes good.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
And especially if you're going to have people over or whatever, you want to do something, you're like, oh shit, I could do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes the original recipe takes a long time.
I know. And it's fun because you feel like you like poured your life into it, you're like all stoked, but
yeah,
sometimes like when you're having a big party, you just want to get it done.
Yeah. Dude, another one is from my home country, our main dish is called pupusa, which is
pupusa.
Yeah. I love that.
Lost my virginity in the 90s. Go ahead, as you were.
Well, what you want to do is like, it's like beef chicharron. So you take the beef and you got to fry it up really good. And then you take that and you grind it with like bell peppers and all that kind of stuff to make it like real fine. And then you put it in the pupusa dough, or not dough, but flour.
Yeah.
And you make it. So my mom's always done that, right? And then one day they sell like the little carnitas packs at like Rayleigh or whatever. So I'm like, dude, we should try that because it's basically what it is, So we did that, and she just mixes all the other stuff with it without doing all the grinding, without frying it, without doing all the stuff. And it's mixed, and she just makes them and tastes
awesome.
I mean, it doesn't taste like exactly the same, but it tastes pretty damn
good enough
close.
To fill your stomach up.
Where you could do it like on a Monday night whenever you wanted to, instead of like prepping like, oh, I got to do this step, do that step. So like the little cooking hacks are pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't really know if I have them, like a hack like that, but I will say just like Central Market in Carson City, their El Pastor is like some of the best El Pastor I've ever had. Like, I don't know what they do to it. So that's like our taco parties. We get so Carson City people, there's somebody listening. Central Market, El Pastor.
Did you see, because you go and just get the meat, right?
I eat all of it there.
Right. But I just saw they actually posted, I think it was like on Facebook or something, but they sell like packs now where it's like the tortillas, the salsa, the meat.
Oh, no shit.
And you just cook it at your house.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just do my like regular shopping in there, but.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like everyone that comes in from out of town, especially like East Coast people, like Jersey Tony, his request is already tacos.
Yeah.
Because East Coast Mexican food sucks, dude. It's like terrible. Like I got fajitas one time and had barbecue sauce on them. I'm like, you want it spicy. You don't want it sweet. Yeah. So that El Pastor, it's like I buy like 3 or 4 pounds of it for a taco party and I fry it up like on my Blackstone or something and get all good and crispy. And I bring it in and everyone's like, dude, you killed it on the tacos. Dude, those were so good. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I cut the onions and cilantro and grated some cheese onto it. Like I'd had nothing to do with the meat, but dude, and I've seen like, Kendrick Barbecue and a bunch of these dudes make it and it looks awesome. But like you said, you got to have like, they get like these Trompo Kings they're called, and where you can basically layer it up to shave it off.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, they're marinating, they're stacking it, they're smoking it, they're cooking it, they're shaving. I'm like, dude, that bag down there.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Dude.
For like $15 and fry it up. Oh, dude, it's delicious.
Yeah.
So,
well, like
not a hack, but awesome.
I mean, it is kind of a hack when you don't really know how to cook that stuff. Just go to your local Hispanic Mexican shop or whatever, and they usually sell those the meats already marinated. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know that. They just kind of buy the meat, but not the marinated.
No, get the marinated stuff and fry it up good. Like I go on the Blackstone probably longer than some people do because it goes through like the stages where it kind of like sweats out the fat. So it gets like kind of wet. And if you pull it off there, it's probably not good. No. Like I wait till all of it's evaporated and it almost looks like it's starting to char and it's freaking perfect.
Just how they do it.
Dude, and then you put it in eggs the next morning and then you make tacos I live off it.
Yeah. Like I said, I usually go there with Hater Dave. We grab some lunch there. And I usually see your cousin in there. Yeah. During lunchtime.
Yeah, he loves Mexican food too. So he's always eating it. Yeah.
Are you doing... So I already missed out. I always talk and I'm like, I'm going to do this. But March Madness, the brackets, I was like, all right, I'm doing it this year. it seems like it already started. So
yeah.
I missed out.
Dude, I think it starts in like January or something. And then March is just like the final, like, where it gets into like this, what is it, 16?
Well, no, that's that. No, yeah, it's
yeah, but I'm saying
the whole tournament starts now though.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you wanted to get into like brackets and stuff, you need to be paying attention, like because I don't know anything about college basketball, right? So it's like when March Madness starts, I would probably just pick like number 16 and they'd get beat freaking 100 to 50 or something. So
I'd pick UNR, and
didn't they do good not too long ago? Like a couple years ago?
Probably like 3 years ago, something like that. They almost they either the Sweet 16 or they made it or they lost right before. But last night they played against ASU and they got them cheeks clapped, dude. Bad. 60 something to 90 something.
Oh, that's not good.
So that wasn't good at all. But I was wondering, because I know you're like really into sports and you might watch, because a lot of people do put their brackets out there. Mm-hmm. You can research it, and some people put their stuff, and maybe you can move. Maybe you're from UNR, so you put UNR a little bit higher than they did because that's your team or whatever. But other than that, people put their brackets out there. So I was wondering if you ever done that or you've been into it.
Yeah, I've never messed with it. I don't really pay attention enough to understand it. Mm-hmm. And like I love football and I do like football parlays and shit all the time, and I lose every one of them. So I'm like, why would I? I mean, maybe it'd be beginner's luck. I don't know.
I mean, I know there's a big money if you actually get all the brackets right, it's like millions of dollars you can win. Yeah.
But those odds are like, I wonder if anyone's ever actually done that.
Not that I've heard of.
Yeah. Because that would be pretty gnarly. Because usually I think I did watch something. What's that called? Gonzaga or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they were like low man on the totem pole. I think I watched like a special on it, and I think it was one of the years maybe they won it. Mm-hmm. I could be lying. I don't know, but I feel like it was something like that. Yeah. And some dude only had just Gonzaga to win at like the beginning of the year, like before any of it started, and he made a shitload of money off of like $40.
I'm already claiming it. Syracuse is taking it all.
Okay.
I have no clue even if they were in it, but
I'm going to say Duke. Are they even in it?
Oh, Duke's always in it.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
They probably won it last year.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's the only team I ever think I see in college besides UNR.
Isn't Coach... I won't even get into it because I'll get roasted. I was going to say something.
Densmore will be all over our asses right now.
He might not be the biggest college guy, but we'll see.
But he's still pretty tied up in the basketball world, so I guarantee he knows something.
Yeah. So let's get into something that we probably do know about.
Okay.
Me, not so much, but you will. So Scotty Scheffler dominated the Players' Champion this past weekend.
Did. Added to his resume. He's got a major. He's got, like the Players, they call it the fifth major, so he's basically got that now. And I think he went to world number one because Rahm had to withdraw from, I think he was shitting his pants or something. Like legit. I think he had stomach flu.
What a piss.
Or something, yeah. But dude, can you imagine swinging a club and like...
They put a diaper on.
Dude, these guys wear like white pants all the time and stuff. I'm like, you guys are idiots, dude.
Yeah.
Like I kind of do a lot of farts, dude. And if I was on the PGA Tour and I was like world number one, I ain't wearing white just in case. I don't know. So, Scheffler's killing it, man. Actually, just before we started the show, I was on Instagram and the USGA posted he was at Martis Camp in Truckee for his amateur, like a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's pretty gnarly. He played in Martis Camp and now he's like world number one and just winning all this shit. It's cool to see, and he's just such a humble dude. Good dude. I think he deserves it. Rahm's like the exact opposite. But I still love watching him play because he is such like a fiery like Spaniard. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, he'll miss, like his approach shot will miss the flag by like 15 feet, dude, and he's yelling at himself and pissed. I'm like, that's high standards there. Like, I'm just happy to hit the damn ball. Yeah. So
what he was 6 under 68 or something like that, or what was it?
Who, Scheffler?
Yeah.
Shit, I can't remember. I think as far as the tournament, he was in like the teens, wasn't he? Like 14 under or something like that.
Holy.
Yeah. But yeah, on the last day, I think he probably shot like a 5-6 under because he only had one bogey, I think, and he was killing it. He was just chipping in, draining putts, and so they pair the top two guys up in the last group, and it was this Minwoo Lee dude was in second, and he was playing good all weekend, and dude, he shit the bed.
Oh, he thought he was gonna win it.
He was in he triple bogeyed like the second hole, and then he was in the trees for what felt like an hour. Yeah, like he just kept hitting a tree and having to hit it again. I'm like, I give props to Scheffler because I know how it's when you're like playing with someone that's not as good and they're struggling. It's hard for you to keep yourself in your game and concentrate on what you got to do. So for Scheffler because like I said, the Players is one that it's their tournament. It's the PGA guys' tournament. So they want to win that thing. So like for him to keep it together and, by the end of the tournament, he came down the stretch with like a 5-stroke lead or something. Like, dude, I think he was 18 under. or 17.
Yeah.
It was up there. So he came down the stretch with like a 5-stroke lead. And they always say 17 is the island green where like, you know, if he was tied for the lead or something, that's like what Fowler did that year. Is just hit a gnarly shot into the screen, stuck it to like 4 or 5 feet and made the putt.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you got 5 strokes, it's like, even if he went in the water once, he can get it on the green and probably bogey it, you know. So, but he played awesome, man. It was fun to watch. And I was at my parents, dude. My mom was on like a Friday, Saturday bender. My dad, who can't drink, just waking up drinking every day. So I'm like, fuck. So by the end of that tournament, I was pretty foggy.
Dang.
Yeah.
So I saw Scheffler and Jon Rahm have won 4 of the first 5 designated events in 2023.
Yeah.
So my question is, your parents are hanging off a cliff, about to die.
Uh-huh.
You got to win this golf tournament for them to survive. And you can only pick one player, Scheffler or Rahm. Who you picking to win?
That's a good question. That's really hard because those 2 dudes don't mess up. You know, there's some guys I could see getting a little loose coming down the stretch, but those 2 guys, man, are so solid. I think maybe I would pick Rahm.
Ooh, okay.
I think, just hear me out too, because Scheffler, like, he's awesome, dude. And like, hands down, I think he is world number 1. He's playing so good. And, you know, every time he wins, it's like he did make a good putt, I believe, at Waste Management last year to get his first win, or also to win to a playoff. But, you know, he's had, like, he comes out, he starts really good and wins. But here's my point is, Jon Rahm's first major was the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. And he legit had to birdie 17 and 18, I believe, to tie the lead. I could be wrong there, but it was something like that. And dude, on 17, he had like, I don't know, a 30-footer, and it had massive break, and he makes it. And then on 18, he like has to birdie this hole, right? And he hits it to like, I can't remember, like 10, 15 foot range, has to make it, drains it. And then I think whoever he was tied with maybe messed up coming down the stretch, and he ended up winning his first
so he's
major.
pretty solid.
Yeah, so it's like on a have-to basis, like parents hanging off a cliff.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go with Rahm.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I asked Brian, and he said Scheffler.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
he's a homie hopper. That's because Scheffler just won.
I'm picking Tiger.
I mean, yeah, Tiger in his prime, dude.
Yeah.
I'd put my parents on that cliff and fucking put the pressure on him to see if he could do it.
And just be able to play with Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into what's worth watching this weekend. Obviously, we have Supercross. Like I said earlier, the champion or the leader in the 450 class, the elite class, whatever you want to call it, has changed. So it went from Tomac to Cooper Webb. So that means, you know, Tomac has to pull something out this week and, kind of make a statement like, hey, this is my championship to win, not yours.
Yeah.
So they're going to Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's, and then they're coming out west for, I think, another 2 rounds and stuff. So the lights guys get a little bit of break. Yeah, so we got that going on. And then also we have UFC 286 from the O2 Arena in London. So it's going to be 2 p.m. our time, West Coast time. If you guys are watching that, it is a pay-per-view fight. It's Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3.
Usman.
Yeah. So it's number 3. First fight, Usman won. Second fight, this is like when they first started, so it didn't really matter, I don't think. Second fight, Usman's the champion. No one can beat him. He's fought everyone. He's the badass guy. You know? Comes in, demolishes Edwards. 30 seconds left on the clock. Edward head kicks him, knocks him out.
Oh, dang.
Gets the belt.
Dang. Gnarly.
So it's like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He was getting his ass beat, dude.
Yeah.
So
this is
all of Usman should have just ran that entire round and he would have won.
Yeah.
He was getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
So now we're going in the third fight where Edwards is champion and Usman is challenging. But going back to the last fight, dude, he was being dominated.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for me to be like, Edwards is going to do anything different.
I would put my money on Usman.
Yeah, Usman.
Plus his last, dude. So me and my buddies got all buzzed. Because one of my buddies, Philip, he's super into UFC. Not to cut you off there.
Yeah.
But we were hammered one night, and I think it might have been the first fight that he won. The first out of the 3. Dude, and like all night we'd be drinking like we would do a shot or something. We're all, Usman. Dude, and we just kept doing it. And then it carried over to the golf course. I'm like, God, we are retarded. So I'm a fan of Usman. just because that night.
Yeah, I'm going for Usman as well.
See how dumb I am? Just something little like that, and you got a fan.
Yeah.
Rogers knuckling me. Usman, his last name. I'm a fan.
Kamaru Usman. And then the co-main event is Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Something like that. So that one's going to be just a classic. I punch you in the face, and then you're going to punch me in the face.
Cool, I'd watch that.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje doesn't have a fight where he just doesn't brawl.
Yeah.
That guy's really taking some time off his life for this, which is do whatever you want. But, I mean, there is such thing called having defense in fighting.
Yeah. Some guys don't understand that.
Yeah.
Is he a younger dude?
I mean, not really.
Oh. Because I feel like when the young dude's like 23, 24,
no,
they just get out there and just start swinging and see what happens.
He's not that young. All I know is if I was in a fight, I'd be trying to block those punches from hitting me in the face.
I would run and hop over the fence and get out of there.
Or that.
It scares the shit out of me.
Like I've always said, there's just a scenario I gave you earlier, but with your parents. But like if I was in a fist fight and I had to pick 3 guys to fight, 50 dudes, I'd pick Justin Gaethje, I'd pick Michael Chandler, and Tony Ferguson. Those guys block punches with their face nonstop.
Huh.
And it's like, that's what I want. Like, these guys just tough motherfuckers, dude.
I'd probably pick Matt Byton, the dude from Green Street Hooligans.
Which one?
I don't know. He was on Soldiers of Anarchy and all that show, like the big tall
Elijah Wood?
No, his like brother-in-law.
Yeah.
The dude that ends up dying.
Yeah.
I'd probably pick him, and then God, who would I pick? I'd probably pick like Brock Lesnar.
Mike Tyson?
Nah, Lesnar. Because I want like that roadblock, right? Like that dude's gonna.
That's what I'm saying. Those 3 guys, their faces are just
like Biden's got the arm length. The other dude's just a nut, and then you got Brock Lesnar, who's just like the Berlin Wall standing up there. So yeah, that'd be my picks.
As you run,
I'd be out of there.
Yeah,
I've gotten in like 2 fights in my life, and one of them was with a girl. Barely won that one.
Yeah,
bitch slapped me in the eye.
Oh shit! So that's what we got going on. It's going to be a good card. Like I said, it's going to be earlier, so make sure you check out what time it is in your area. But 2 p.m. West Coast time. It's going to be good, dude.
It's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah.
See, we finally got good weather, and this is the issue now. I'll probably be out there and stuff. Won't watch nothing.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But next week when you ask me for my recap, I'm going to be like, oh.
Speaking of that, I think I got to go pick up my bike. It's done over at Cliffs.
There you go. I'll pick up the pit board.
So, yeah, I need that.
Get your ass on a program.
Yeah.
Get that arm pump out of there.
It's my problem, dude.
Dude, that was always my problem. That's why I quit.
Yeah.
That arm pump and freestyle.
I heard guys in moto, they're like, dude, I've never had arm pump. I thought that was a myth.
No.
I'm like, dude, how are you not better than you are?
Yeah.
Just because it's like you don't get, like, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
You probably don't get tired as much as, you're probably in really good shape.
Yeah.
And then your arms never hurt.
Yeah.
And you could always hold on. Like, how are you
arm
not
pump
faster?
was the death of me. I think, but it's just a mental thing because like racing locally, I never got it. But man, the second I was like in arena cross, holding my breath tight, I hated it. It was because you can't feel nothing.
Yeah.
Can't feel my controls. Like there was times I was limping to the finish line, like fanning my clutch because I couldn't. That was for Densmore. Fanning my clutch because I couldn't like let go of it. Like my hands were just stuck. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So I have a lot of work to do before. I don't even know if Mammoth is going to happen.
There's a lot of snow up there.
Yeah.
Speaking of a lot of work to do, I got a tea time.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to us. Jorge, shoot him the handles. The Boys _pod on all the social medias. You can check us out on YouTube, The Boys Pod, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. And start asking us some damn questions. I want to answer some. I'm sorry. I don't know why I yelled right there, but no, it would be fun. We need to start engaging with people. And I don't care if it's Densmore. Ask us 10 questions.
Well, ask them something that you want to be asked.
What are my goals? Someone set me some goals out there. Besides growing hair, not being fat, and quitting drinking beer. Okay, those are the only 3 that's just not going to happen. So, and other than that, any goals, I'll give it a try.
There we go. I like that.
All right, dude. Till next time.
Till next time.
All right.
Thank you, guys.